Hello and welcome. Today is Thursday, September 24th. This is another episode of Around the Corn. Today, we would like to say a big thank you to our presenting sponsor, the one and only Bradcent Real Estate. Bradcent Real Estate, located in Omaha, Nebraska. If you're looking to try and buy or sell a home in Omaha or Iowa, Bradcent is the guy to call at 712 789 0518. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Southwest Iowa or Omaha, give Brad a call. He is the number one sponsor of the show and our presenting partner. We love him here. With all that said, guys, it's time to ride. We got a big show to talk about tonight. Quite a few things, really. It's been a busy day here at Around the Corn. We really had a banner day, I would dare say. I got two of the regulars here tonight. So, Quinn, why don't you go ahead and give a shout out and tell everybody how you're doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Got my Gardner Minshew t-shirt on, watching the Jags. Hoping to win some money. Glad to be back as the defending champion, even though I wasn't on last week.
Attaboy. Absolutely. Always happy to have Quinn. And one of my other favorite Hawks of all time, Josh Wilshire. Josh, put your hands up. What's up, man?
Great podcast radio makes hands up in the air here. feeling good tonight. I got my Beat State shirt on. Looking great, and looking forward to doing some pandering and hopefully winning Ryan's affections this round.
It shouldn't be a tough call tonight. It should be a short show for everybody involved. Might not be necessarily the entirely normal format that we have, just given kind of the smaller panel. We don't have a guest tonight either. It's going to be pretty freeform, to be honest. I think the one thing in the A block that we really got to get to is that, guys, today we solidified ourselves. And as I sit here, and this might be the first video I put on our actual YouTube channel, I've got half a bottle of champagne in my hand right now. I've had some of this. I won't lie. I'm feeling pretty frisky at the moment. It's been a big day. We broke some news today. Did we not, gentlemen?
We did. I couldn't be more proud of what we're doing here. I know I'm not a journalist in the slightest regard, but I do like putting out content, and it felt good to break some news of our own today.
That we did. Josh, did you have any thoughts? Did you even get to see what all happened today?
I was actually stuck in class most of the day today,
no.
so I happened to miss out on it at the time. But
Yeah.
I did catch some of it, and I will say from the talks that we had in the very beginning before this all even started to get to here now, it's pretty exciting, honestly. Not baby steps, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the people listening to the show probably definitely follow us on Twitter. But to recap, just in case you didn't see anything that happened, I'll give you a quick rundown of kind of my morning and then all that happened. I was at work, as most of us do. We all work jobs or are either students, and was at work and got a text message from a person. And this person said, hey, excuse me, I had to burp there, and I hope everybody heard it. This person said that your same person that tipped me off to the actual 12,500 number, they said, your number's about to go up. Get ready to up it. I've got the other info. So then this person gave me all the info that was going to be coming out soon. And I said, okay, how do you verify this? Person sent the verification as to, what it was. And I fired off a tweet real quick. And then quickly following behind it, 4 minutes later, he was behind me. The AD of Iowa State. I was out ahead of him, whom I love. And this isn't me dunking on Jamie Pollard, because I never would. If Jamie Pollard sent me a C&D letter tomorrow and said, you can never break news again, I'd probably consider it, because he's the only person in this world that could ever control me in any capacity, because I love Jamie Pollard. But I was out ahead of him by 4 full minutes. And I could not have been more proud of the situation at that time. Guys, are we a legitimate news source now? Quinn, what do you think?
I don't fucking know. What makes you a legitimate news source? I mean, I don't know. We have a couple journalists in our journalists in our group.
Small J's, very small J's.
We have some small J's in our group. We've broken a couple pieces of news. Does that make us legitimate? Maybe.
No.
I don't. I would have to lean no right now.
Yeah.
But are we on our way? Are we on our way to becoming legitimate? More than likely, yes.
The one caveat to this is that I want to say that the first and foremost thing is that I never want anyone to think that we actually are legitimate or are some sort of news source by any means. We are a site and, well, on our way to be a site, I should say, but we are a show by fans, for fans, first and foremost. And that's what we care the most about, is bringing any sort of news, any sort of just entertainment, any sort of gossip or, takes to fans first. Really, that's kind of all we really care about more than anything. And I really want to hammer that home when I say those things, because I did get a little brushback and some people trying to talk some shit in my mentions and just being like, oh, you sold out, this and that, and who'd you know, and whatever. And fuck it. That's not the point. Is I will never be the person that's trying to be that guy above anyone else. I'm here for all this kind of shit first and foremost. Anything I do is because I just want to, because I just conceivably can, and because I think it's fucking hilarious that a dude with a fat sack of kush, a laptop, and a fucking cell phone is out here breaking news stories ahead of every single goddamn media outlet in the entire state of Iowa. Josh, do you have any thoughts?
I will say, if we had to be the cast of Anchorman, we've reached brick level. Just once in the blue moon, maybe getting something right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. I would 100% agree. Again, it's not about we don't want to be taken seriously by any means, but if we have the opportunity to ever actually bring you, any sort of a scoop that we can actually verify and get stuff out there for free just to get ahead of people just because we can, we'll absolutely do it. I think the first category really that we actually have on the docket to debate tonight is a tweet that went viral earlier that Quinn was kind of haggling over and that we kind of want to discuss real quick. Quinn, do you have the @ on it? I know it's in the rundown in the B block. I don't have the @ If someone has it handy, let me know. But the genesis of the tweet, or I should say the gist of it, was fandom. If you're a fan of a college, do you actually have to have gone to school there? Quinn, what side are you taking that argument?
So I have the @ right here. It is @Del Reed. He is from Buffalo. He's from Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Member of Bill's Mafia. Shout out Bill's
nice. Mafia. Yeah, shout out. Oh, big Bill's Mafia podcast, just so everybody knows. We love Bill's Mafia.
Anyway, of course not. I mean, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I don't have a degree from the University of Minnesota Vikings. So it's not necessary. Am I going to stop making that take that it is necessary? Absolutely not. One, it's almost equivalent to Dylan's Luka Doncic take. It's something I have to own up to, and I have to die on that take. I have to sit on that sword. Okay? That's one thing. But it's one thing to be somebody, and shout out to my brother's girlfriend Sydney for making me look like a dickhead on Twitter today. I'm not gonna say what she tweeted at me, but I understand that some fans of colleges can't afford to go to those colleges. I get it, but it's the fucking elderly men and the middle-aged men who bought a sweatshirt at Walmart one time and sit at the bar on Tuesday nights and watch their teams play. They can't even name the starting quarterback. That's the tavern hawks that really drive me up a wall.
Would you like to name drop what university you might be egging on there when you say those sorts of things?
I mean, Tavern Hawks is pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know what a Tavern Hawk is, then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Josh, do you have a rebuttal to the Tavern Hawk accusation? I feel like he really just hammered that point home.
I mean, I will say this. My dad is 59. He's born and raised in Iowa, went to the University of Iowa, born, raised Hawk. But he owns a Tennessee Volunteer sweatshirt that he bought at an airport in 1984. So he's not sitting in a tavern somewhere watching the Tennessee Volunteers and hoping that they win a game in the SEC. So I think the idea is good, but I'm not sure it has much merit because you can never know when you need to just buy a sweatshirt just to stay warm, and you're like, hey, fuck it, might as well just root for this team.
Go ahead. Well, I got one interjection real quick. One, I would love to know that Josh's dad, at least once in his life, was sitting in a bar at Knoxville wearing that sweatshirt going like, I don't know who the fuck's playing, but I got the sweatshirt on. And two, this is the first time I've ever heard Josh say the word fuck on a podcast. So right now, Josh is leading by a country mile because we got him to say the word fuck on this show. So
I've been pretty good at keeping my mouth filtered so far.
Yeah. So you got a lot of ground to make up with your comeback here, Quinn.
See that? No, but that's the thing. Josh, your dad doesn't claim to be a Tennessee fan, does he? He might have the sweatshirt. I have a Jacksonville Jaguars t-shirt on right now, but I don't claim to be a Jacksonville fan. It's the people who own one sweatshirt, sit at the bar on Saturdays, can't even name, don't even know who the head coach is. Like, you can ask them who the head coach for Iowa is, and they couldn't tell you. But when Iowa wins, they'll shit down your throat because Iowa won, even though they don't know a single member of the organization. Those are the Tavern Hawks that drive me fucking bonkers.
I will say that, like, there are some fans in the fan base that are just, like, and it's any fan base that are just atrocious. Like, they're just gross, and they're just not good. And I mean, you know, if we got that section, we got that section. You could ask Dylan one time. I actually took him to his first game in Kinnick when it was Iowa State in 2018. And he was sitting right next to a guy that was literally shitting on the Hawks the whole game. And just like down, down, down. And then we won and he wasn't even happy. Like, it was the most bizarre fan. And like, they're out there. But I mean, I think they're few and far between compared to the amount of like Tavern Hawks you claim there are. But I mean, there's Iowa State fans I know that are like, Iowa State, yeah. Like, just guys who are farmers that are just like, yeah, Iowa State, because why not? Same premise.
I will say there are plenty of Cyclone fans that didn't go to Iowa State, but I would counter that and say, for every one Cyclone fan that didn't go to Iowa State, there are 50 Iowa fans that didn't.
I mean, when you have a tradition of losing until the last 5 years, yeah, it's pretty hard to justify having a whole state aside from the town of Ames.
And I realize that, but it's the people. It's the Tavern Hawks that can't name anybody on the team that really pissed me off when I go down to the bar in town wearing an Iowa State shirt and I just get fucking ripped on all night by a bunch of middle-aged men that didn't go to college and only root for Iowa because it's Iowa. They just grew up with that. They didn't know any different.
I feel like I'm going to put a button here and kind of put it this way. I've always been on the side of I would love for Iowa State to be popular enough that people would walk into Walmart and just randomly buy a T-shirt. I don't think that's ever going to happen, just given just history. It would take another 20 years of success to get to that point. So I don't think that would ever happen. I do understand where Quinn is coming from, since I did just back Josh by saying that. I will say that growing up in Southwest Iowa, there's definitely a ton of those kinds of people that sit on bar stools on Saturdays. Couldn't tell you a single thing about Iowa football other than they are just happen to be wearing a T-shirt. So all that said, all controversy aside, oh, he's got an interjection.
I got one more thing, but it's not just Iowa either. I want to say that.
Okay. Here we go.
I student taught in Kansas City, which is 20 minutes from Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Jayhawk fans are the same way. Kansas fans are the same way with basketball. They're Kansas fans just for the fact that they're Kansas and not Kansas State. Just for the fact that they couldn't tell you who Bill Self or Roy Williams are, but they're Kansas Jayhawk basketball fans, and that's it. So
the elevator pitch of your argument is people cheer for teams that have been historically good.
Yes, and I don't want to say they're front runners, but they are. Like,
yeah,
nobody wants to cheer for the bad teams.
Right.
Like, you're a Jayhawk fan because you're a Jayhawk basketball fan because you're a Jayhawk basketball fan, and those same Jayhawk basketball fans probably root for a different college football team because Kansas is fucking awful, right? Okay.
I mean, they call them Jayskers for a reason. Most of them cheer for like Huskers and Jayhawk basketball. So yeah.
Exactly. So it's not just Iowa fans. This shit happens all over the place, and
Quinn's anti-bandwagons, I guess is what he's saying.
Well, no, I love me a good bandwagon.
Anti-loyalty?
Anti what?
No.
Maybe I think it starts to like maybe anti-popularity. You are against the grain.
I'm a very contrarian.
That's what it is. You're a very contrarian fella. Yeah, a big contrarian guy.
I will admit to that. I hate people who jump on the bandwagon and just front run because that's who the best team is. Like, I have high school baseball players that are Yankees fans. I've never seen a World Series, but never seen the Yankees win a World Series. But they're Yankees fans because they're the New York Yankees. That's the type of fan that really drives me nuts.
I didn't know we were getting hipster Quinn on tonight's show. I thought we were gonna get like normal. We got hipster Quinn on tonight's show, not normal Quinn. All right.
Hey,
cool.
I do have the pretty.
That's true. Are you gonna show me your collection of Edward Sharp Zero albums when we're done with this?
I can if you want to. I'll introduce you to some brand new IPAs too.
Well, I mean, I would actually be for that. So that's not the argument that we're making. IPAs are delicious. I don't understand why that's an insult. Josh, do you have a wrap up here on this topic?
Yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much covered up pretty good. Basically, if you're going to be a fan of somebody, at least invest the time to understand the team, invest the time into the players, and support them fully, and not just they got a Tiger Hawk on their head or they have a Cyclone on their helmet. Be a loyal fan and do your homework and root for whoever you want, I guess. Somehow Quinn's a Red Sox fan. Talk about bandwagon.
Hey, okay. Before any of you fuckers are in my mentions about that, I am a Red Sox fan because my father grew up a Red Sox fan. My father grew up in the 60s or the 70s and 80s when the Red Sox were awful. So, front run my ass. Sorry, I had to get that.
Got it. Your dad's a big time.
My dad liked losers. He's Red Sox, Cyclones, and Vikings.
Nice. Quinn's like almost kind of similar to he's like Bane. He didn't see a championship until he was almost a man.
Yep. If you count 8-year-old me in 2004, a man.
Sheesh.
Shout out to the guys who are Cubs and Bears fans. I mean,
ouch.
My dad saw a championship in '85 and he didn't see another one until 2016.
Yeah, it couldn't be me.
Lordy holy me, oh my. With all that said, we've got a great topic here for this next one too, given what's going on this weekend. The Big Ten still hasn't made its way back. Still working on what's going to happen going forward. What is that, another 2 weeks, Josh, I believe?
Yep. October 19th, I believe. Let me double check the date.
Yeah.
Or 17th.
Josh, Josh, you do get points on that one, just so you know, because I got you to say the word fuck. So that's kind of why you're getting points there. That's not even pandering. That's just like, it's just so great to hear you say that word. So anyway, but yeah, it's like we're still about 2 weeks away, I think, from the start of the Big Ten play.
First game is the 24th. So we still got a little ways. I think 4 weeks.
Yeah. So we'll definitely focus some more on some Big Ten play the closer the time gets. Right now, though, we want to talk about Iowa State has a man. I don't want to call it a must-win game, but I kind of want to call it a must-win game on Saturday.
Kind of a game that sets the tone for the rest of the season, really.
Yeah.
It's as must-win as a Week 2 game could ever be.
Which is a fucking insane thing to say. Like that should not ever be the case. We should not be in a loser goes home situation in Week 2, but here we are because Week 0 or 1, whatever you want to call it, was that terrible. So, guys, with that said, TCU, Iowa State. I'm going to open it with a very broad question. I can narrow it down from here. What's the outlook for Iowa State on Saturday, Josh? What do you think?
Iowa State's at TCU. TCU starting quarterback has a heart condition, Hogan. So they're starting their sophomore Duggan. Downing. Duggan?
No,
like
Duggan. Duggan has the heart condition, and they're starting Downing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Downing. Yeah.
Thank you. So anyway, I mean, starting a fresh game and going ahead and get against the Big 12 opponent. TCU and Iowa State games are known to go down to the wire. Even last year, Iowa State was running away with it, and then they tried to make a comeback and like late in the third quarter and beginning of the fourth quarter, but Iowa State was able to put a stop to it. But I mean, I feel like Iowa State, if they just play sound and they just don't turn the ball over and they don't make very simple errors that they can easily correct, they should be well ahead of this game, and I don't think TCU should really be much of a problem. But that being said, it is Iowa State, and they tend to find a way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that generally does happen, unfortunately. It's kind of like the Cubs conundrum of how quickly can we piss down our leg and make something terrible happen out of nothing. That's the downside. I guess then we'll move over here. Quinn, what's the outlook for Saturday look like, you think?
We got to get better at pass protection and special teams coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if those two things come around, the defense was good enough last week or against Louisiana, where I have confidence they can reel in TCU's offense, especially with an inexperienced quarterback. They don't have very much experience at wide receiver or running back either. Their running back now, he's young, but he's a stud, but he's young. If the pass protection is as bad as it was against Louisiana, and if the special teams is as bad as it was against Louisiana, TCU will run away with it. But you had 2 weeks to get ready. You had 2 weeks to get healthy. The pass protection should be better. I don't know if Trevor Downing is going to be available or not, but even if he's not, we had 2 weeks to get that offensive line ready for Saturday.
And I mean, I can go ahead and say it right now. Don't expect Trevor Downing.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at.
Is Kolar supposed to be back?
Nope, Kolar's out. Well, you can't see it at home, but if you watch the YouTube video when I put it, I'm putting supposed in quotes, supposed to be ready. Don't expect him.
Yeah, I mean, watching the game last week or 2 weeks ago, Iowa State's offensive line tackle play in particular was where they really struggled. It was hard for Paul to really cut the edge and use his speed to get around the outside. The defensive end had him there pretty much most of the time, and when you're forced to bounce horizontal like that, makes it easy plays for the linebackers.
Josh, can you record that? What you just said, and we can play it at the same time next year, so you don't have to come back. We can just replay that on a loop.
On a fucking loop, just for like the next 2 years.
Every single year, Josh. You don't even have to come back. You can just keep playing that.
I heard you say we, and like you sounded very positive about Iowa State. There is what he's saying.
Well, no, I'm talking about the offensive line play.
You want that? You want that spliced out? We can do that
because it's the same shit every single year. Josh doesn't even have to come back. He won't even have to come back the next time Iowa State.
Just autofill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I have never paid this much attention to Iowa State football until I met Dylan and Danny. Like then
Oh, God,
I've actually had to sit down and like watch games with them, and I'm like, God, this is just gross. I'm like,
atrocious.
where's the fundamentals? Where's the
Where,
offensive line play, defensive line play that I'm used to seeing out of
where the,
Iowa?
where the punters?
Yeah, you're also not used to seeing the punter that much.
Yeah,
Or
that's
that
the.
little.
I would say that the special teams at Iowa State has always been a very just like ugly. I don't want to say stepchild because I don't want to insult
Dumpster
stepchild.
fire.
Yeah, it's always been awful. Like it's my whole life, and this has been 3 decades I've been alive, and I've never once looked at a kicker from Iowa State and been like, "Got it, that's the guy." It's never happened. Like special teams at Iowa State, it's essentially a knock-knock joke. If I'm being honest, like you want to hear something funny, kickers at Iowa State.
I would say Ass Alley is the best kicker I've ever seen.
Yeah, which is not like a big compliment. No shots to him, but
yeah, he's been good, but he's never been. He's going to make this kick good. It's always,
right.
It's always. I don't want to watch because if he misses, I'm gonna want to put him. Yeah.
I don't know where Iowa finds their kickers, but I haven't worried about a kicker at Iowa in forever.
I'm doing a hand job motion. It's not great radio, but I'm doing it so everybody knows.
Yeah, go give your balls a tug, Josh.
Yeah, that's exactly how we feel about like, oh, you can recruit great kickers and hog mollies. Cool, that's neat. We like specialty guys. We want downfield receivers. Find those quarterbacks that can run for longer than 2 yards. So that is the outlook kind of opinion on stuff. And I'm not going to get points out here quite yet because I'm split on the opinion. So if that's the outlook, I guess if you had to pick two keys to the game, like two things, if Iowa State does these two things well, this is how they win. What do you think those two things are? Let's start with Josh.
I think the two things are, number one, on the defensive end, the secondary has got to keep the receivers in front of them and limit the big plays.
Corners looked bad 2 weeks ago.
Iowa State looked really troubling when Louisiana hit a big play and they just sucked all the energy out of them, especially with no fans. Even if you're in enemy on an opposing team's field, that energy on the sideline just disappears when you get those big plays. So you got to limit the big plays. And I think, honestly, Quinn said it, offensive line play. It's got to come down to those big dudes up front to give. If you can have as good of skill guys as you want, but if your skill guys don't have any room or any time to make any plays, they can't do anything with the ball. So, offensive tackle play has got to be better for Iowa State.
Nice. Ooh, man, solid answer. And that wasn't even a question you had to prep for. That was right off the dome. Quinn, can you match that?
Yeah, well, I already kind of gave my two. I said offensive line play and then special teams, but I'll go different for this question.
Okay.
I would say, one, they're going to have an inexperienced quarterback, TCU is.
Yep.
So one thing Iowa State has to do is they have to get to the quarterback. Okay? There was too many times last week I thought Jaquan Bailey and Ennio Razarique and even Latrell Bankston had a chance to get to Louisiana's quarterback and just didn't make the play when they had the chance to. So if they can get to Downing or Duggan when he eventually comes in and puts up 250 and 4.
Let's not say that. Stop.
But they got to. If they get to the quarterback, they can't do anything. Like you can't get the ball out if you're being sacked. And that's one thing Iowa State needs to do better. And then I think the second one is the wide receivers have to show up. I mean, if we're not going to have Charlie Kohler and TCU had the best defense in the league last year. Even though they were awful, they were 5-7, but somehow still had the best defense in the Big 12. Their secondary is good, so those wide receivers have to show up. They got to be able to get open. If Brock Purdy doesn't have an open receiver to throw to, then we're screwed.
Right. I kind of want to give it to Quinn here because he did point out the biggest flaw, I think, from what happened 2 weeks ago. The receivers was, I think, the most glaring, and I mean, it was kind of like a mirror on a high noon coming down from the top, right in your face look, where the receivers 2 weeks ago were easily the worst part of that game. Like, and this isn't me trying to take shots at Milton or Sean Shaw or anybody. It's that I watched that game 2 weeks ago, and holy fuck, guys! I'm gonna be honest. Those guys out there, that was bad. I mean, it was bad,
And-
paddles for hands, bad.
And this is supposed to be one of the best receiving cores we've ever had, and they
Right.
looked pedestrian against Louisiana.
I agree. It looked like a very late era Dan McCarney. I forgot I needed to like recruit guys to get the like downfield ball type receiving core. It was brutal to watch. It was terrible. I'm gonna give the point to Quinn here on that. Yeah.
It almost looked like a Paul Rhodes receiving core.
Oh, he's going even worse than that. Wow.
Well, minus Alan Lazard. I mean,
right, yeah.
Alan Lazard is the only wide receiver that could get open in Paul's last couple of years.
Yeah.
I thought, anyway. Maybe I'm wrong.
He recruited Lazard, Hakeem, and March though. Didn't those were all?
He recruited them, but they never played for him.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
Alan,
I guess
Alan did, but
yeah. I suppose I'm just thinking in terms of, I guess, the talent that he had and was wasted, which, I mean, you could already – Paul Rhodes did a lot of that. Points to Quinn on this one, so we'll go 1-1 right now. I do have one great question here. It's not a quick pick and it's not a tiebreaker. This is a legitimate, full-filled question. We'll start with Josh. Just exactly how mad is the Big Ten in Nebraska? Like, if you had to do, we'll leave it like there. It's pretty open, and we'll talk some more Big Ten football as we get into this, and maybe I'll give out some more points as we talk. But I feel like it's very, very open. We know what's happened. Josh, give us just like the cliff notes real quick.
If the Big Ten was Michael Scott, Nebraska would be Toby Flenderson. Like, just absolutely getting the shaft.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's pretty clear and obvious that they were upset at Nebraska and all of like just the whole state of Nebraska for everything they did, and just giving them the worst schedule possible, which is absolutely fantastic if you ask me, because all those Skurs fans can go out there and suck an egg as they drop 2 in the first 2 weeks. So, but I mean, you know, when it comes to Nebraska, obviously they think they're a blue blood, but they haven't been relevant since I was been born. And I would just like to see Nebraska actually either prove it or just shut up and realize that they're not as important as they used to be.
I know there's a couple guys on this podcast. We can't really I might have to edit that portion of it out for them. They're definitely going to be a little sad if they listen to that and then hear you just taking a big old stinky goose shit all over their favorite team. Quinn, on to you.
I think I don't know how to answer this one. I think the Big 12 took into consideration Nebraska's actions when making this schedule, which I think is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like,
he's going the other way. Okay.
Nebraska is now getting punished by the Big 12 for petitioning to get their football season back.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Nebraska, Big 12 or Big 10 wouldn't have Big 10. Sorry, I'm sorry. Fuck the Big 10. Anyway, Nebraska is being punished for getting the Big 10 their season back, which is just ludicrous to think about. Like, the fact that the Big 10 would give them Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Penn State 3 out of the first 4 games, just to spite all the things they did to get the season back, is just ridiculous. I really hope the Big 10 didn't take spite into consideration when making that schedule. I hope it was just a coincidence.
Right.
But, yeah, the fact that Nebraska is being punished for this is just dumb, I think.
So I did read in a couple of different places that they were already on the schedule to play those 3 games. It was just that they were broken up. So, like, they didn't play them all in technically the order initially, quote unquote, that they had them obviously revised now. So they were going to play all 3 of them in some capacity. I think where the screws came down was the fact that they play 3 of those 4 just absolutely like immediately. Like
And
that's the part that I think they took the beef with, right?
Yeah, and that's the part that is not sitting well with me. The fact that they did all this to get the season back, and now they got to go get their dick kicked in 3 out of the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And, that's going to be absolutely deflating for a program that cared so much about getting the season back.
Okay. I would like to spin zone it real quick. If I were to flip it, and if I'm going to spin zone it, they get to go into all of those situations, and they could say, A, we're the underdog, which is always fucking awesome. You get to be that guy. You always want to be the underdog. And B, they also get to say, we saved football. Y'all didn't do shit. So there's going to be a big chip on Nebraska's shoulder every single week for those first 3 ones. Could you see them playing, at a higher level than they may have otherwise?
I would disagree because they had Ohio State at Nebraska and a night game and college game day, and they still shit the bed. So no, there's no way they play anywhere higher than their 4-8 ceiling for the year.
That was already scheduled.
Which ones?
You're talking about the game day was already scheduled for them at that night game?
No, that was last year.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Last year they played Ohio State at Nebraska at a night game with college game day because they had Dwayne Wade and Gabriella Union.
That's right.
Gabriella Union's a Nebraska fan.
And an extraordinary, not just a Nebraska fan, Hall of Fame ass eater. We got to throw that out there. Just a big old fan of just eating the box. So
I think she went to Lincoln.
So everybody knows.
I think
she did, yes.
Anyway, I'm going to spin zone your spin zone, Ryan, and say they would have been the underdog anyway, and they've been the underdog for the last however long, and they still don't come out and compete. So the fact that they're going to be underdogs in those games holds no water.
I'm trying to give them the chip. I'm really trying to gas up Nebraska football more than anything, only because of the fact that, like, as the podcast that we are, I don't have to gas up Iowa. They already have way too much arrogance going on. So, like, I don't need to, like, spend my time trying to get them, like, anything near hyped up. And then Iowa State football just is, we're the fucking Chicago White Sox of just the Big 12, where we're just kind of there and then the best of luck, I guess. So, like, trying to gas up another fan base is always the goal. It's always a positivity thing. I guess if you had to pick an over/under, and I'm gonna spit one out here real quick, and we'll just see where both of you are at, just out of curiosity. Josh, if I told you over/under wins for Nebraska 5.5, where are you at?
I think that's fair. I mean, honestly, I think you almost had a push there. It just really depends on those first 3 games if they can squeak one out. I mean, if you drop 3 in the first 4 weeks, that's obviously hard to recover. Well, I think they play 10 games total, right? Or no, 8 plus 1.
Yeah.
Or is it 9?
I thought they were doing 9, so it's 8. Well, I thought it was 8, and then, or was it 6 and 2 crossovers, or is it?
I think it was
7.
I think it's 7. I think it's 7 in a crossover, and then the championship teams are obviously playing if you're first and second in the league.
You can tell this is a big-time Big Ten podcast right here.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm gonna take an over/under, I'm gonna take the under. If anything,
okay.
I don't think Martinez is a good player, but I don't think they have the weapons around them to actually do anything. And Nebraska's defense last year, we gave up I think they were out of 14 Big Ten teams, I think they're 10th in yards per game, and they're just not very good defensively, not good, and I just don't think they're going to win over 5.5 games.
Nice. So Josh is on the under, probably taking about 5. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'd give it 5 at the max.
Gotcha. Quinn, thoughts and feelings on 5.5?
I have one thing to say first. If you guys are listening to this podcast for betting advice, don't listen to Josh because you cannot push 5.5 wins. It cannot
that's
be
true.
done.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess we got to let him talk at least. And you don't want to step in, but yeah, you're right.
Not a big betting guy, still getting into it. I need a little advice.
Yeah, we can help you there. That's for sure. Quinn and I might be able to answer some questions.
Moral victories do not count as half of a win in Vegas.
As much as Scott Frost might tell you that. Anyway, Quinn, 5.5. What do you think?
I'd take the under.
Yeah.
I probably I would be rooting for them, especially in the opener against Ohio State. I hope they come out and just give the Big Ten a huge middle finger and a suck my dick.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it very likely. I think the under is the way to go here.
Yeah.
When's the last time they got to 5 wins in regular season, or have they? What were they last year? 5
Not since Bo Pelini left.
Yeah, I think that might have been, honestly. 4 might have been their peak since he. No, didn't. Shit, we need one Nebraska fan here. I feel like they've at least been to at least 5 wins since he's left. I guarantee Riley's won 5.
Okay.
There's no way Riley hasn't won 5. I'm not gonna look it up. It's not worth me doing that.
But okay, even in a 12-game season, 5.5 is an uncomfortable number for me with Nebraska.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
that's weird to say too, like out loud, just like to have that thought.
But in a 8-game schedule, 5 would almost win you a division. 5-3, that would be close to winning you a division, especially in a division as competitive as the Big Ten West.
Yeah, not just that, but also if you play in the NFC East too.
Yeah, exactly. They some of those teams win the division at 6-10.
Yeah, so if you play in the NFC East and won 5 games, shit, there's a good possibility you're making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm taking the under with that.
That's fair enough.
Last year, Scott Frost won 5 games. They went 5-7, and then the 2 years before that, they went 4-8, and then Riley went 9-4 in 2016.
Okay.
No, what? They had a 9-win season with Riley? No shit.
Yeah, 9-4, and they lost to Tennessee in the Music City Bowl.
That can't be a thing anymore, by the way. We need Jared to fact check Music City Bowl, what their standing is.
It's in Nashville.
Is it still a bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised by that. That seems made up. That seems like a fake bowl, I'm going to be honest. That sounds like an NCAA bowl that they didn't get the rights to.
It's the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
There you go.
It's played at Vanderbilt Stadium.
Who is the TransPerfect? Is that some sort of car company?
It's played at Nissan Stadium where the Titans play.
This is great radio. Us looking up bowl games from 2 years ago. Fantastic. I got once you're gonna go to Josh on this for looking up. Gotta be honest. Gave him the extra effort. It's kind of like the kid that does the extra credit. Like, if you want to get over the 100%, you got to do it. He looked it up. I'll give him that. I do have, for our quick pick tonight, and this is what we're going to close out on because we're closing in on the 50-minute mark here. I do have one good quick pick, and I want to join in on this, and I thought of it. I thought somebody had it in our group chat, and nobody responded. So I'll let Josh lead off. I'll go number 2, and then we'll let Quinn finish on the horn here. So I hope you're ready. I want to do a quick pick real fast because we talked about it earlier. It's kind of in the same vein of like the Tavern Hawk thing. I want to do a quick pick of the best bandwagon teams to cheer for in college football.
Okay. I think so. You're looking for like teams that are like everybody joins on, or like ones that are fun to join on.
I think you could do a combination of both, Josh. I think let's do something. It's got to be a good bandwagon team, like one where just everybody gets excited when they're on TV. It's like a good, just like you're in 100% if they're playing, you're cheering for that. You're not 100% a fan, but you're also like, I'm going to cheer for these guys.
Okay.
I know I got my first at least 2 in my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna start out with probably tough. Go UCF.
Okay.
UCF is a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
They're just like grossly, or like they're like Nate Yankees fans. They're just like so arrogant and just so proud of themselves. But I don't know. They're fun to watch, and it's always good to watch some 5 teams.
So is it just like an offensive thing? Is that what it is for you?
Just the chaos that is Group 5 football.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna see. So Josh says UCF. I gotta put this. I'm gonna keep talking while I write this down in my notes real quick because I want to keep track of it because I want to make sure I have everything correct. My first pick, just so everybody knows, I'm taking one really good one off the board that I wish Josh had done. I'm gonna go LSU for my first pick. I can see Quinn's eyes just rolled back in his head. I can't tell if he's mad at me or if he's like angry I took his pick. I don't know what that like look is.
I think it's more
What
just
do you think?
disappointed that he didn't get the
Disappointed? Oh, is he mad at? Oh, he's mad he didn't get to do it, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
Look at that. He's mad. Yeah. Hopefully when this goes up, yeah, he's upset.
As my Joe Burrow jersey lays idle in my closet.
Let me give one quick sentence on LSU. Actually, I don't even need to give you a whole sentence. Coach O. That's it. It's all you need to know to get in on like being the LSU bandwagons. So they're my first one. Quinn's got two here.
Damn it, Ryan. Okay. My first pick is going to be a very personal pick. And it's going to be Notre Dame. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan.
Okay.
My entire family's Notre Dame fan, and it stems from my grandpa Dan, who was a Notre Dame fan. He wasn't Iowa or Iowa State. He was Notre Dame. So that's where that comes from. Oh. And then
gross. I hear it in the background, like real quiet, but gross.
And then my second pick, I'm gonna go with the U.
Oh yeah, when they're good, yeah, that's a good pick.
When they're good, I feel like everybody in the country is watching them in prime time. The turnover chain is one of my favorite traditions in the NCAA. And now I don't know if you guys noticed the other night against Louisville, they have they have touchdown rings, and they look like brass knuckles. It's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. So you went Catholic convict right here out of the gate.
I did.
You went Catholic convict there out of the gate. Yeah. Nice. You should have just said that, and then just like you didn't have to explain yourself. You should just be like, I'm going Catholic convict. It's great for Twitter. It's great for just electricity on a Saturday. You just like, yeah, that's the matchup you want. Coming back around, I'm gonna go USC only because when they are at like their peak level, and I'm talking like Reggie, Liner, White levels. That
was the last time they were at that level.
Right, exactly. When they're at that level, like everybody's just like, oh, holy shit, this is much watch football. Like this is got to be here on its side. That's like, and as a gambler, Pac-12 football, you don't normally watch unless you're just like, as Matt Daring once said, it's like diversifying your bonds. Pac-12 After Dark is like the last-ditch effort just to get clean for the day. It's like if you're a day trader and you're like trying to get back in the black, you're just throwing everything you can, just darts on the board at just shitty Pac-12 games. But USC is one of those teams who, when they are nationally relevant, is a ton of fun to watch. So I'm gonna take LSU and USC as my first two.
I'm gonna come around here on my second pick.
You got two here, Josh.
Yep. I'm gonna go Florida. When Florida had Tim Tebow and Aaron Hernandez and that whole did you know there was 41 kids arrested on that team?
Yeah, the Pouncey brothers were on there too. People forget that team. They were
That team was insane. It was so
Percy
loaded.
Harvin on that team? Percy Harvin was on that team too, wasn't he?
Was he?
I think he was on one of them.
Cam Newton was Tim Tebow's backup.
Yeah, Cam Newton was on the team.
Like, that team was Urban Meyer should deserve a reward just for getting all those kids there.
Cam Newton stealing, laptops was like the least of that team's concerns.
Yeah. When Florida was relevant and Tim Tebow was lighting up college football boards, that was
good
great.
Pick. Yeah. I agree. That's a good one.
I will say, I just looked it up. Percy Harvin was on that 2009 Gators team.
I'm not shocked. Yeah, that team was stupid good.
Hey, fun fact. They ran the base defense of 3-3-5. Shout out John Haycock.
That was also weren't Horford and Joakim. They were on campus at the same time too.
And Charlie Brewer.
But also, and Charlie Brewer. Brewer was on there too. Yeah. Talk about a wild time to be on that campus in Gainesville. Holy shit. That town had to have been nuts.
That would have been like the last year of Bisha, just all every day.
Just for a whole full year.
Except instead of Welch Avenue, they were partying on the beaches.
Yeah, like it had to have been nuts. Like the Pouncey brothers just pulling pistols, just like Al Horford, just like I've heard some great stories about Joakim Noah just being an all-time stick man in any city he goes to. Just apparently wherever he goes, just putting in work with women. I don't know. That's just stories that I've heard. I would love to verify it. If anybody out there knows Joakim Noah on a personal level, let me know because that's a conversation I'd love to have with him. Joakim Noah, come on the pod.
For my last pick, I'm going to go with Oregon when they had like Marcus Mariota. And
hold up. Oh, fuck, never mind.
It's coming around. Don't get lost in the snake now. When Oregon was out there going to the Rose Bowl and like just absolutely torching defenses for like 600 yards a game, it was just so much fun to watch. And I remember watching that Oregon team play Michigan State, and I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be interesting." And Michigan State looked lost. They were absolutely just clueless as to what to do with guys that are just that much faster than them. So I gotta go Oregon on my last pick.
Solid. I can't argue that, especially you're talking like Chip Kelly offense too, where it was just put everybody wide, gunsling, let it fly, right?
And just play as fast as you can.
Right, yeah. It's like the Mike D'Antoni of football. Just we're not even going to line up. We're just going to throw the ball as quickly as possible. That's solid. I can get behind that. Damn, Josh, good lineup other than the UCF pick. I'm not going to lie. Man, here for my last one. Shit.
Imagine if I had LSU on my list too.
Yeah, I know. That was the one big one I snagged. That was like my kind of cornerstone piece. Man, fuck. I kind of want to say, you know what? I'm gonna do something surprising here that people aren't gonna expect. I'm gonna pick a Big Ten team, and I'm gonna pick the Ohio State, and I'm gonna do it for one reason. I'm gonna do it because a big time bag dropper school, which I absolutely love. I'm always in on a school that's just 100% complicit with we will cheat to win. I love that. It's a great narrative. And two, I will never forget, I can't remember, was it the Sports Illustrated cover or was it the ESPN cover when they won the national title as the first time for the college football playoff when they were the 4 seed and nobody thought they'd win. And it was nobody believed in you. Nobody thought you could win. Nobody thought you would do it. Now they call you champions. Do you remember that cover? And it had the band on it. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Ohio State because they're like one of the only universities you can say the in front of and know exactly what you're talking about. So I'm going to pick the Ohio State as my last one.
I like that pick. Not only are they complicit in cheating to win, they're also complicit in covering up domestic.
Oh yeah. Well, they can't remember if they cheated or not. Is the problem? They don't know. They don't know the memory, the lucidity of whether or not I passed it along to the right person is a bit of an issue.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is they've been hanging out with Penn State too much.
Well, I mean, we made enough Penn State jokes on this show, but we'll take more of those for sure.
Okay, and then the greatest cinematic segue of all time. I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I'm gonna take the troops. I'm gonna take Army and Navy.
What? Okay, you.
Nope. No. Here, just hear me out. Let me explain myself.
How's he
going Air Force too?
Nope.
Yeah.
Just Army and Army.
Is there a Marine football school I can throw in this just for the batch?
Just Army and Navy because that Saturday when they're the only team on TV.
Okay.
Or only game on TV, everybody is watching.
That's fair. Nice. Okay.
Nobody ever has a fandom, or outside of the actual fans, nobody ever has a fandom for these two teams. But they always have a hashtag Go Army Beat Navy or hashtag Go Navy Beat Army. Everybody's watching that game. It's the only game on TV. It's after championship week. It's just always competitive. It's always fun to watch, and
that's fair.
I feel like everybody gets around that game, no matter who they're rooting for or who they root for in a regular season. Everybody's always tuned into that one and rooting for somebody.
You remember when Army almost beat Oklahoma with Kyler Murray?
That's true. That did
I
happen.
was like, I was watching that one and just biting my nails, hoping Army could throw the ball farther than 10 yards. I was like, please.
Just a one time ever.
Just give him like an Angels in the outfield style, just one throw.
Jesus came down and plucked the ball. It was just like, we're going to get it going further. I can't pick a winner out of this, to be honest. We might have to get a graphic, and I think this has to go to like the public.
Twitter poll?
Yep.
Yeah, we might have to do something here. We gotta get like Jared or somebody who's better at like computer stuff than us. This is too contentious of a quick pick for me to look at it and be like, there's a winner here, because there's arguments for easily anybody to win this. Like, who had the best win for the quick pick? I don't want to pick a winner on tonight's show. Yes, I handed out points. Yes, we did all of that. I think what's more fun than anything at the moment is just us being able to talk college football is what I would say is like the most exciting part of all of this, correct?
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody just looking forward to tomorrow's another Saturday. I know we can't wait for it.
I will say it also wouldn't be fair if I had to, it also wouldn't be fair if
Friday.
It also wouldn't be fair if I had to beat Josh three shows in a row. So
yeah, that I've been thinking.
Too demoralizing.
I was like, when I came on tonight, I was like, it's just me and Quinn. All I got to do is beat him. I was like, I got this. And now we're at a draw, so I got to wait even longer.
It's just like, it's kind of like, I feel like how Quinn's kind of looks at like every time he sees Matt on the lineup when we do a show, and he just like has his eyes filled. He's like, Matt's in the show, I'm in. Like I just got to beat one guy.
Yep, exactly.
That's fantastic. No, I don't want to pick a winner tonight. Honestly, this was like I said, it was a little bit different tonight, just given the kind of short circumstance, and also with guys out of town, guys working. A little bit different. Just excited to talk college football. Excited, obviously, for us to kind of talk about our growth too. Kind of not necessarily brag, but like talk about where we're headed as a show as well. So, positive stuff there. I'll give each of you 1 minute if you want it. Josh, we'll start with you and then pass it to Quinn if you got something to pass off here.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the only thing I got to say is, I've played a lot of football in my life. I feel like I have a pretty good wealth of knowledge when it comes to personnel and groupings and stuff. If anybody on Twitter ever has any questions or wants to like do any sort of football talk, shoot me a DM or DM the podcast and we can be in contact. I'd love to do more of that. I've always been intrigued with the idea of coaching. I've always thought about it, played with it in my head. So
Love it.
If anybody wants to talk more football in detail, go ahead and shoot me a DM and go Hawks.
Boy.
Quinn, what are you gonna do with your time?
I don't really need much time. I don't have much to talk about. I'll go along the same lines of that. I'm one of the greatest NBA minds on Twitter that I know of. If anybody on Twitter ever wants to talk about why LeBron James is the greatest of all time, please don't hesitate to text me or Matt Daring. He agrees with me on that one. So hit me up if you guys want to talk LeBron.
Definitely Matt Daring. Tweet at Matt Daring if you want to talk about how great LeBron is. Big time LeBron guy.
Please do that.
So you're willing to die on that anthill?
Oh, we're not. Matt Daring, at Matt Daring. We cannot stress this enough. At Matt Daring loves LeBron James. So to repeat, at Matt_Daring, big LeBron guy.
Huge LeBron.
Big time.
Yes, and I will die on that anthill. That is one thing I will never relinquish is my fandom for LeBron.
Yeah. If LeBron fandom, as far as the show goes, it is definitely at, again, _Matt_Daring. LeBron fan, huge. And then Quinn Brennan's number 2.
Yep, I couldn't agree more.
Tilsky's in there somewhere also, but we'll worry about that later. We cannot stress it again for like the 5th time. Matt Daring, huge LeBron fan. Please tweet it and tell him that.
He actually just mentioned in the group chat earlier today he's considering naming his firstborn child LeBron.
He did. He thought about it. He definitely said that. Big time LeBron guy. So all that said, I'll give one last shout out to our presenting sponsor, Brad Sint Real Estate. We're super happy to be partnered with him here in the area. super happy again. Took a shot. He's a fan of the show, listens to us quite frequently. Kind of is just like, hey, love what you guys are doing. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home in Omaha, Southwest Iowa, or really just anywhere in either state, give him a call. The number's at the front end of the podcast, or just let me know or the show. We'll hook you guys up. So all that said, we appreciate you guys for listening. Everybody have a good Friday. Thank you guys so much.
Go Hawks.